the thickness of the gold overlay on the temple objects. And I did one yesterday where I kind of said this is what the size of the wood has to be, because when we start looking at the amount of gold and the weight and how it's being pulled by the oxen. And I'm not the only one who's done this type of math, who's put it at 1/128th of an inch thick. But I can kind of give you a very brief overview of where that is. We have one talent for the lampstand, leaves 28 talents and 730 shekels of gold remaining, so that's about 2,130 pounds remaining. I estimated the table around 5 pounds, and the items on there are 5 pounds. After the fragrance altar, at 60 pounds. We've got 500 hooks. I have those 1 ounce each. That's just a rough estimate. It's 15.5 kilograms, or 34.5 pounds. And of course, then you have the rings for the crossbars, and I've got the crossbars, about 4 pounds of gold on each of those, and about 240 rings, and I'm estimating about a pound each for those. And then you have the boards with the remainder. And I have 57 boards, and if I'm dividing that up, I'm getting a little over 30 pounds each board. And so, of course, then we just basically run the sizing. Now, that's the fast, easy way of trying to figure out how thick is this overlay. But let's put that in perspective that each of us understands. If you've got aluminum foil in your house, it is usually at 0.63 mils. Where do I even have that here? Yeah, it's 0.63 mils. And heavy duty aluminum foil is 0.9 mils thick. Okay. Now, this is 12.3 times as thick as your regular duty aluminum foil. So when you think, oh, I wonder if I'm going to rip something or touch it when I'm touching it, it's thick as can be. 12 times thicker than your regular aluminum foil. It's 8.6 times thicker than heavy duty aluminum foil. So it's a thick layer. And I've wondered about how the two methods that we would have to put that on. One is to kind of melt it and roll that on, but I'm afraid that would kind of stick to the roller, and that would be the easy and the best way to get that nice and have it stick in the actual board itself as it burns the board as it goes on. But I'm afraid it would just coat the roller, and then it would get thinner as it goes up. So the easier way is to roll actually out a sheet, so you know exactly what the depth of it is, and then and gold's very easy to do that with, and then just kind of glue it onto the boards. And so I think that's actually going to be the factor. We know from the weight they're going to be thin boards, so I'm almost thinking you'd almost glue up the boards to try to eliminate warpage. We certainly don't want to have anything that would have a warp for anything for the tabernacle. And unless the cloud and the fire keep the temperature around that tabernacle at a constant temperature, which it may very well do. It's a shade during the day, so it's keeping it cooler during the day, and then it warms you up at night. It may keep a very steady temperature under there, so that wood doesn't want to move in any way, and therefore is not really subject to warping. And so, but if it gets colder at night, then that's going to actually have a bearing on there, and it's going to try to warp that wood. So, I think we would try to play with it in a way to really keep that warping to a minimum. But the other thing is, when you're thinking about the thickness of this, I don't know if they're going to be using gloves or something else. But as they pull down these boards and transport them, put them over to the cart, I don't think they're going to have a problem. That's pretty thick. It's not just going to rip just for the fun of ripping. And again, it's not going to be just a regularized cart. That thing is going to be very specialized for these boards, and so these boards aren't lying basically on top of each other, I doubt. Although it's possible. But I would think there would still be a covering to really protect everything. This is precious cargo. We don't just throw it and hurl it onto the back of this cart and see if it skids across. They're treating that very gingerly. So I don't think we've got an issue there. Again, the thickness of the gold is pretty good.